Why does that not apply to gun laws in America?
Don't you worry though. Like, I'm just going to play devil's advocate. I don't really.
Someone has to.
Yeah. I don't really care what people do. Like, you can smoke meth as long as you're not doing it in front of me. I don't really care.
Meth is bad at the moment.
Meth is really bad.
Meth is bad, but again, it's up to the like. If meth was legal, I still wouldn't do it.
Consider
But
this.
how can I? Yeah, but at the same point, how can I judge when I use cannabis and I use MD and I look at it and I look at someone and I do that. I do this now and it's really bad. I shouldn't. And I look at them and go, oh, that's such a sad life. It's like, fuck. Like, really? It's everyone's own journey. Like, fuck.
How does it happen? Okay, so let's say whatever happens, Tony Abbott gets back in a radical shift, allows all drugs to be used in Australia. Do they just like is a switch
Some
flip?
crazy universe you're living in that Tony Abbott legalized.
Does it just
Yeah,
like
that would be whoa.
it'd be wild. But okay, so the floodgates are just open one day and everyone can just do whatever they want.
Okay, so my first move, if that was the case, you need to spend so much money on
Awareness and like
getting people to make them in safe, good places and testing the shit out of all of it.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's the problem. Like I've been in situations where I've wanted to get something and someone goes, okay, this is MD. This is you've got these set of expectations that are going to come from the drug. And then you take it and it's like, oh my God, this is speed. This is speed with something else.
Yeah.
And you're going, oh, fuck, I didn't want that. You don't want that to happen. You want people to be able to go, I'm having a beer, I'm having a joint, I'm having some MD, I'm having some acid.
And I feel like you'd have to do something similar to Amsterdam where you do not have a bar that sells weed. It's a weed bar or a bar that sells alcohol.
And shitloads of education, like they would have to get into schools and they go, okay, kids, now we're going to talk about the effects of alcohol.
Think about the jobs it would produce.
Well,
unemployment.
I think of the other side. Like, think about like when.
Well, no more jobs. It's just all the people who are doing it illegally are now doing it legally.
No, but you wouldn't want them doing it illegally.
You don't want that.
No,
dealer.
I'd be wanting chemists coming from university to be making the meth that's out for the public.
But it's still the same number
For
of
the
jobs.
public.
It's just different people doing it. Like, is that going to ghettoize the population that make drugs even further? Like,
Well, that's my concern. Think about like Aborigines in Australia or Native Americans when America was colonized. Like, these people had nothing like alcohol, and it ruined them. Like, it just like having something like that your society like, imagine if like heroin was just unleashed on mainstream Australia.
Oh, it'd be mayhem. But you look at places like Switzerland where they have a very different way that they deal and take care of drug users. They have safe places where you can take drugs. Everyone's quite happy with that. You can shoot up heroin. They
Really?
can clean needles. You can do it in a safe environment. And you can even get access. I may be wrong on the access, but you can definitely do it in safe locations, and it's not stigmatized the same.
Yep.
It's a bit more of that kind of, this is a public health issue. These people are abusing it. We need to help them manage it and do it in a safe way.
But it's the same as like an alcohol addiction now.
Exactly. I see so many people destroy their lives with alcohol, and like that's just they go, oh, they love the drink.
Like,
that's their life. It's like, fuck.
I think it's pretty well known now that alcohol kills far more people than weed does. Weed doesn't kill people.
But to the same note, like you look at the best practice for healthcare professionals now, and it is a recommendation. They used to say a glass of wine. It doesn't actually matter. They just say one standard drink of alcohol a day is quite healthy. It's good for your heart. It's good for your bits and pieces.
It's got the antioxidants in the wine.
Yeah. It's beneficial. It's therapeutic. There's so many things that I think that we've stigmatized and we've pushed away because we've come up with this one thing. We go, oh, it's bad for this. You go, fuck, everything's bad for me. I can kill myself if I eat carbs. If I just eat carbs for the rest of my life, I'll die at 40. It's like, fuck. If I do that with fucking smoking, I'll probably do the same. It's like...
Yeah.
And then there's also like the medical applications of weed, like marijuana, but it's not to get you high, but just the cannabinoids in the marijuana have such crazy health benefits.
Rhett knows all about cannabinoids.
Like at the moment, I'm studying a dietetics degree, which is all about using food in a therapeutic way to manage disease and slow progression and stuff like that. And I'm quite interested in the oncology side of things, which is all revolved around cancer and treating them and making sure they're not losing weight. And one of the major things that we regularly prescribe for is nausea. You're giving people anti-nausea medication, and then you're also trying to increase their appetite with certain little tricks and bits and pieces.
Sound familiar?
Just get them high.
Just get them a little baked. They'll fucking monster. You can feed a high person anything. I remember sitting down at a party one time, just eating fucking white bread like it was cake. I was like, "This is the best."
God.
There was that documentary is called Culture High that I was referring to earlier. But
have you watched it? Yeah,
it's good. It's good. Did you see the part at the end? And this guy has like a 4-year-old son who's been having like 100 seizures a day since he was born. And he's like, the only day he didn't have a seizure in his life was the day I was giving him THC oil or whatever.
It was giving him, it was CBD.
CBD.
Which is like one of the major constituents. Like there's so many
it's
different
like 1%
ones.
THC, so you don't get high off it.
And CBD directly counteracts the high that you feel. It's really quite amazing.
So this kid was having seizures every day, like couldn't function. They were worried he was going to die. Like he went to a hospital went to his doctor and was like, I don't even think he's going to make it this week, like through the week. And he was like, all right, well, we can try this. And they gave him this oil. First, within minutes of this, a few drops of this oil, this kid was like playing and having fun.
Wow.
Exactly what you do when you're high. Like me, high, I'd play some video games, watch a little bit of YouTube.
He was like, he was swimming in a pool in the front yard and neighbors were coming up being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like this kid would, the temperature change from going from like regular room temperature to water was so drastic he'd always have a seizure.
Wow.
Now he's just like frolicking in water.
We take a lot for granted.
We
do.
That kid was having a rough time. He was on some heavy medication.
I remember seeing it, and the big thing, he was addicted to benzos.
That's it.
I've talked to a couple of people who've gone through similar stuff to that.
The withdrawal.
They say it's intense. Like, people die from the withdrawal from it, and this is like a little kid.
Yeah, they're showing him go through withdrawals of benzos, and he's literally just like shaking uncontrollably. There's like soldiers talking who go through it after like PTSD, I think. And stuff. They're like, worst time of my life.
Wow.
And I've been in war zones and that come down was the worst.
Wow.
And this little kid just getting fucked up by all this medication and the pharmaceuticals fucked him.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Very interesting topic. I like this one.
I do like, okay, we've been getting very serious about it. How about
Not
we
so
just...
funny.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Why don't we just talk about some fun drug stories?
Fun drugs.
Hey, Kale, I've mentioned this maybe 3 times in the podcast series, and every time you seem to skirt around it. I want you to tell me about DMT.
Okay, DMT is... Hi, everybody. My name's Kale. You might know me from the PS Podcast, Australia's #1 PlayStation podcast hosted by us. I went to a thing that we have in Australia that's called Burning Seed. It's
Kind of like Burning Man.
It's kind of like Burning Man, same tenets, same principles. But
Could you enlighten the listeners who don't know what those tenet and principles are?
It's all about like trying to I'm rational enough. Like, people go to these festivals and they never come back. Like, it's about like,
it's a community.
yeah, see, like, I'm sensible enough to know that this is ridiculous. Like, what this place is. Like, because the idea is you go there, it's a moneyless society, everyone treats each other with love and respect.
But it's still living in excess. It's like...
everyone's just there getting wasted.
It's sexually indulgent. It's pharmaceutically indulgent.
But it's also
the whole
like,
thing.
you go there with things and you will trade them for other things.
Yes,
So
yes.
you bring alcohol, you trade it for drugs or food or water.
That being
That's
said,
how it works.
It was probably one of the most like interesting. I met some of the most incredible people I've ever met there. Like,
I like the guy who had the laser fingers.
oh yeah, professional raver. This dude, Rhett, he had like this. He had a rave suit that he'd constructed for himself. It had like smoke launchers on it. Every finger had military grade laser pointers on it that like are so illegal to have.
Don't look
I
at them.
want
And
to
he's got
put that on
8 of
my
them.
CV.
He's got 8 of them, and he's got like a nanginator, like a soda bulb machine. And this.
Sorry, I fucked up and cut it. What's the nanginator, Cal?
Okay, so back to this guy. So he's like, he would bring a party to wherever he was. The nanginator is like a soda bulb thing, and you basically suck back nitrous, is it?
Hippie crack.
Yeah, it's like hippie crack.
No, that's what it is. Hippie crack.
Okay, so this guy, just for the full record, he's got 8 military-grade laser pointers. He's got a smoke machine on his back that pours smoke out. He's got different, like, settings, and his whole body is covered in what looks like, if you've ever been to, like, laser tag, body armor that lights up and just, like, shoots shit out. And he's just like this dude. He was from the Blue Mountains.
Was it proper laser tag body armor?
Yeah, but he like retrofitted it,
yeah.
and he had to charge it every day, like on his he had a full generator. Him and his friends were like glamping; they had PS4s set up in their tents and stuff. But he'd charge it all day, and it'd be good for 8 hours. This suit, and he was so funny because like he'd roll up to like a rave. These are just like thousands of people out in the desert just dancing, and he'd just roll up somewhere, turn his armor on, and like lights are shining out. He's pouring smoke, and he's just dancing. And he's actually got 2 of these soda bulb things on each hip, and his cargo pants are just full of these, like, soda bulbs. So he's sucking one back, like, smoking it like a bong almost. You just, like, shove it. And all it does is it makes you go, like, kind of dizzy and funny for a little while.
Is it just like a cream gun he has?
Yeah. But he's got 2 of them, and he's dual-wielding them and just passing them out to the crowd. And, like, because he's so
that
outrageous...
cream in there, that would just go...
He was so outrageous, like, people, and especially girls, just come up to him, and he could kind of dance. And so, like, he's just fucking bringing the noise, literally.
That's awesome. Now, how was DMT?
Oh, yeah, so anyway, we experimented with a few things, and we tried out DMT. I really don't even understand. Rhett can go into it a lot more, what it actually is, but my experience with it
10
is
10 points if you can... What's the acronym?
Oh, dimethyltryptamine.
Wow, you really know your shit.
You go to university.
Yeah. No, I just love drugs. I've never done DMT, so I'm really interested to hear your experience.
So from what I've heard of DMT, you pretty much experience a dream while you're awake.
Supposedly it's what you see as you die, right?
Because we have it, it's in most organic matter, or most living things.
Yeah.
We have it, and
Plants
certain points in time when it's released, death. A lot of people attribute that to the out of body experience. That's some people have, and that's what happens with DMT sometimes.
And like your life flashing before your eyes, people say that could be the cause.
Fuck, I had some weird dreams last night.
That sometimes happens when you go into the DMT.
Well, like for me,
did you have that or?
I did it with like a guy I knew there and a girl. It was just the 3 of us, and we'd sort of been like, because it was a week-long festival. We were like, all right, we'll do this at the end of the week, like just as something to make it an experience. And I was super nervous because this is like...
That's fair. It's pretty... I'd be nervous. It's heavy. I was nervous doing acid.
Yeah, apparently, like, it's totally safe. It's scary looking.
Yeah,
it's
so I was actually
interested.
interested.
Tastes horrible,
I don't
too.
think I asked you when you told me this ages ago, but like, how do you take it?
Well, so they're kind of like little crystals.
Oh, okay. So it's just fucking meth.
Which is really weird.
Sweet.
So the first time...
I love meth, actually.
So the first time we rolled it into a
Crack pipe?
little joint.
Oh, okay.
And that sort of like did it a little bit. It was just kind of like getting a bit
So
baked.
you mixed it with weed?
No, just tobacco.
Just straight up tobacco and crystal.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And
I've heard that mixing with weed's actually meant to be quite good for it.
It was a really interesting experience too, because this is like a tent city. There was like 4,000 people out in the middle of the desert. We like went way out into the middle of nowhere, but we could still see the lights and all the music. Nice. It's just like a constant rave. And we did it, and it was like kind of didn't really do much. And the guy was like, all right, this isn't working. I'm going to go get something to do this properly. And we didn't know this at the time, but apparently what he did, this guy was such a legend. He was like the most handsome dude I've ever met. Like, girls are...
What?
They always are.
Sorry, I'm right here, dude.
But he was like sort of like a spiritual half Japanese dude. And he was just like on this journey. And anyway, so
It's the only
Was he
they're
like-
the only people you buy psychedelics from.
well, yeah.
Was he like Gael in How I Met Your Mother?
I
But
guess
just like
so.
the Japanese equivalent?
I guess so, yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, he goes camp to camp, and everyone's totally cool. So he's just going camp to camp, and he trades a few hits of acid for a bong. That's how committed he was to this. And he brings that back out to us, and we try it through that. And basically what it is you just kind of like light it up, you smoke it really quickly and exhale, and you sort of just go, huh? And like fall backwards, and just like... My experience was I just sort of looked at the sky and the clouds sort of just formed into it was like looking into a whirlpool, but in the sky.
Oh, wow.
And it was very colorful. And it lasts for like 20 seconds, maybe half a minute. Like, not that long, and then you sort of feel a bit weird afterwards. I didn't really even do that much, because I was actually really scared as
That's
well.
understandable, because I've heard people say that you can go into it, it feels like you've spent like 2 days in this fucking dream world, and then
I think those people over-exaggerate.
you come back. Well, yeah, if you didn't have